Good evening and welcome to Wendy's here in downtown Coffeyville. It's the Red Raven Coaches Show. I'm Shay Neal, alongside with me, Red Raven head football coach Nick Dobler. Coach, we not like we ever had a doubt, but it's good to be sitting here, second Coaches Show of the year, and you are officially, and your team is officially 1-0 in the win column. Obviously a shorter performance than you would have liked, but a good way to start the season nonetheless.
Yes, I mean, it's very exciting to be 1-0 and be here at Wendy's again on Wednesday with a pineapple mango lemonade. Very refreshing after a practice in the afternoon.
You got me jealous. I'm not going to be able to get my drink until the first break, so I'm definitely jealous. Of course, pineapple mango, just one of the flavors. They have blueberry pomegranate. They have strawberry. They just have their classic lemonade. I mean, you can't go wrong with Wendy's. I got spicy nuggets sitting behind me. I know some of your guys are just getting their food as well, so... Like we were last week, we'll have a couple guys, one from the O-line, one from the D-line, joining us here in just about 10 minutes or so. But, Coach, let's start the show off by talking about that performance against Wesleyan. And like I said, a little bit of an abbreviated performance, but all in all, the meetings you've had with the coaching staff, the meeting you've had with your guys, there's obviously no such thing as a perfect Week 1 performance. But all in all, you have to like your team's aggression. You have to like your team's, I think, their play in the trenches and their ability to go out there and win a football game. I thought they looked good.
Yes, unfortunately, as far as the weather, luckily we did move it up an hour and got what we got in because that's when it started hitting was at 7, and that would have been right at kickoff, and then we're sitting there waiting to play.
Like Dodge City was.
Yes, a 1 a.m. finish was not going to be what we really wanted to do. We got out there. Kids were excited. First game, some of them had the jitters, first time college football, so it was nice to get some of that knocked out of them, and even as us as a staff,
Well, and Coach, let's just, since you were on the staff last year, obviously, as the D coordinator, last year in Highland, of course, the team got off to a slow start, some special teams miscues, some penalties on defense, some missed opportunities that led to a loss. A good Highland team, but it led to a loss that you felt like was a winnable game. This year, you go out and you start the season with a 63-yard touchdown on the first play from scrimmage. Just had to be kind of a weight off the shoulders after, the start that the team had last year, the start that this program had to 2023. It almost felt like with one play, it was like, okay, new year, new Ravens, we can reset.
Yeah, you had to bring it up last year, huh?
I'm sorry.
Yes, that game was one that just 13 years of coaching, to have not had a game like that where it was just a miscue after miscue, and just you look back and going, how, but that was a very good team. The wins-loss at the end showed too, but this year, I cannot express, too, how that first play, untouched, it opened up like the Red Sea, and that's why I'm sure one of our guys sitting here, the O-line center, he kind of pancaked the guy and opened it up and went untouched for a big run. And, yes, very, very exciting going, all right, here we go.
No doubt about it, and I'm glad you brought that up because I obviously want to touch on the play of your QBs. I want to touch on the play of your running backs, who I think all did well, but they don't succeed without the offensive line doing what they do. And I think, all in all, there was maybe one or two false starts, one sack allowed, but all in all, they were opening the running lanes the whole game, and they allowed for 3 passing touchdowns as well, gave the quarterbacks time in the pocket. I think for Week 1, great performance from the O-line.
Yes, penalties. It was only real miscues. I know obviously there's still a little fine-tuned scheme or in between the whistles that coaches hit on in their positions, but we did, remind the players over the weekend of 6 penalties, and those 2 quarters can cost us because they were about 69 yards. And so that was a big point of emphasis this week, is not shooting ourselves in the foot. If we can play good, sound football, we'll have a chance to win.
And obviously you don't want to have unsportsmanlike or roughing the passer penalties and a face mask, but I'm almost curious, when you look at a season opener like that, there weren't many holding calls, there weren't many pass interference, there weren't many offsides, there weren't many false start. It was penalties after, at the conclusion of a play that probably shouldn't have happened.
Yep.
But do you almost, at the same time, take it with a grain of salt that it's like, okay, these aren't technique execution penalties, these are just, maybe a little bit too aggressive penalties, easier to correct than maybe some of those technique penalties?
Way easier than correct, and going out there, and I call them unforced errors, things we do to ourselves, self-inflicted wounds, like a false start. That's just stuff we do to ourselves that has nothing to do with what the opponent does to us in between the whistle and stuff like that. And yes, you're going to have, when you coach defensively, to fly to the football and play balls to the wall all the way to the end of the whistle. You know, you're going to have some ticky-tack where it is, but they got to control it. You know, we got to be better. At the end of the day, can't have those penalties.
Absolutely. Coach, let's talk a little bit about your running game. Of course, we talked about it last week. This is Coffeyville football. This is a program that prides themselves on running the football, establishing the ground game. And I thought you got off to a great start. Steven Robinson, 2 carries, 64 yards. Trey Jones averaged about 9 yards a pop on 6 carries. He had a touchdown as well. Thought he looked really, really elusive, agile. I think he's obviously grown a lot from his freshman year already. You can see it on the field. And then the transfer, DeAndre Kelly. Any day where your running back that's averaging the least per carry is still averaging 4 per carry. That's something you'll take any single week. But I thought those 3 looked really good at the top.
I mean, the reason why the score is what it is when you look at rushes on both sides of the ball, and as far as the stat-wise, I think they had, negative 24 yards rushing. We had 162. So, yes, we can do that every game. You know, we're going to win a lot of football games.
No doubt about it. And, you know, I think you bring up, obviously, the defense and holding Wesley in the negative 24 yards rushing. And I think, you know, we talked a little bit about it with Coach Eldridge after the game, but you being a defensive guy, something that really stood out to me, and we'll talk to you, one of your D linemen here in just a little bit. He was one of the guys that was doing it. But on plays where it looked like there was a hole there, where it looked like there was a lane for Wesley to maybe get a 6-7 yard pop, the quickness of flying to the ball, closing those running lanes, closing those windows to throw, I thought just really incredible athleticism and just instincts from your front 7, your whole defense, but really your front 7 especially for a week 1 game. I thought it looked like, you know, a mid-season performance for a lot of those guys.
Well, to tell you the truth, too, I mean, watching practice this week, I think we got even faster. And that's scary. You know, we're sitting there watching practice last night as a staff, and we're sitting there watching, you know, 11 guys on the ball, you know, with speed, breaking on it, getting to it, closing space. You know, that's speed right there, but that's a want to. That's a mentality, and we preach it, and Coach Eldridge has done a great job on all the defensive coaches, and the players have bought into that, you know, of playing fast and, you know, sprinting, get to the ball.
No doubt. I think when you talk about a Coffeyville offense, too, ideally in years past, is utilizing the tight end spot. You have obviously good running backs, and that usually requires having a couple pretty good tight ends on the roster as well to help block, to get open in the passing lanes. Of course, Breck Long, a captain of this team. But I really like what I saw from Cam Paul, too. He had a 14-yard reception. Just both of them having good size. Breck about 6'3", 6'4", 230. Cam Paul, pretty similar size. But do you think we could see a lot? And I know that's more of a Coach Ortiz question, but do you think we could see quite a bit of 2 tight end sets this year? Because I think they both bring a lot to the offense.
I'm not really going to go into, you know, what we might be installing and moving forward. But, yes, our tight ends is still an emphasis. You know, Coffeyville, Brandon football, I mean, Coach Ortiz and myself, I mean, we sat there in our offense, all included. I mean, we're keeping the Coffeyville football brand and what has won championships and before and even after us is the emphasis of we're going to run the football. You know, we're going to have tight ends. You got to have tight ends. You know, you can't just go 4 wide and try to run the football every time.
That's a good head coach answer, Andrew. I tried to get a formation out of him, and he's not budging. So that's a good head coach answer. Coach Breck ended up 3 catches. He had a touchdown as well. Down on the goal line, you know, and obviously this is Breck is a guy that the easy answer is we'll throw to him when he's open. But I think he strikes me as the kind of guy, especially in game 1, that he's going to be a guy that you target a lot on key 3rd downs and in the red zone. He just seems like that guy that when you need a play, it seems like this offense is going to be looking at Breck Long.
I think we're going to, yes, I mean, 100% agree with you, but I think there's going to be other guys too.
I agree.
And you know, when you have multiple threats, it balances out and it makes it harder for defenses to lock in. And hopefully, eventually, you know, I feel like defense is going to hone in more film. But you know, if they're good players like that, I think, and coaches, I think there's going to be ways he's going to be open. You know, it's kind of a Travis Kelce feel at times. I know it's the Chiefs playing tomorrow night.
Yeah, and you brought up obviously the weapons, and I mean we saw it on full display. Well, not full display, but a quarter and 8/10 of display. But Ty Durham, 1 catch, but a 33-yard touchdown. He got
quick strike.
Got behind the defense and made the play.
One play, take a shot, let's go.
No doubt. And then also the second touchdown thrown by Carson Crean was to, of course, Jaden Jones, his first collegiate touchdown. And Matt Jordan and I were talking about 6'4", 205, just another guy that when you get down to inside the opponent's 30, that's a guy you're going to be looking for. Good size, good quickness, good hands. He made a catch on a little bit of a bobble, and So we also saw a little bit of Jet, the guy you talked about last week.
Yeah.
So Brandon Hayward had a really good third down conversion.
He did. That was impressive. That was nice seeing him catch the ball and then create something to go get the first down.
No doubt about it. It just goes to show, like you said, something we talked about in the broadcast is talent can win you games in the Jayhawk, but depth and options are going to win you championships, where you're going to get into games against Butler, against Hutchinson, against Highland, where they know who your number one weapon is. They know who your number two weapon is. And in games like that, it's all about number 3, number 4, number 5, being able to step up, make plays, and allow this offense to continue to move, when number 1's maybe not having the looks he normally gets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, next man up, however you want to look at it, whenever your number gets called, you got to be ready for it. That's what we be preaching is Coach Ortiz preaches all the time. The 2's got to act like 1s. When those 1s need a breather, and that's all across the board. I mean, you got to win with depth early, just because conditioning shape and playing 4 quarters. So I've been a part of, teams where you never start the same 11 on one side of the ball for all 11 games and still find ways to win because it's that man up mentality.
Love it. It's the Red Raven Coaches Show here live from Wendy's in downtown Coffeyville. We appreciate Wendy's for having us. We're going to have a couple guys from the team joining us here. Coach, you want to let us know who's stepping into the seats here coming up next?
Yeah, we got the player of the weeks, offensively and defensively. The offensive guy is Devin Waller. He's our center. And then we got Fred Giles, our D, and one that was kind of creating some sacks and stuff like that on the defensive end.
Well, we can't wait. Let's take a 2-minute timeout. We'll be joined by those two guys when we come back here on the Red Raven Coaches Show on US 98. Coffeyville. We appreciate them for sponsoring the Coaches Show each and every week. We're now joined by starting center for the Red Ravens, Devin Waller, and the defensive end, Frederick Giles. The two players of the week, as Coach Delbert said. First of all, congratulations, guys. It's pretty cool. Get the season started off on the right foot. Before we get into talking a little football, what'd you guys get here at Wendy's tonight?
You want to go first?
You can go first. Go ahead.
I got a number 7. It's what is it? The Big Bacon Classic with fries.
Can't go wrong there.
Yeah.
What'd you end up with, Devin?
I got a number 1, the Dave's Double.
Just went classic.
Yeah, that's my go-to meal,
No doubt about it. Well, we appreciate Wendy's for sponsoring us. I know Coach Dobler had that the pineapple mango lemonade that was really making me jealous over here. But
yeah.
Guys, let's talk really quick before we get into the Cisco game. Both of you, just thoughts on your position groups and how you thought you came out against Kansas Wesleyan. Obviously, we touched a little bit on the O-line, Devin, but I thought all in all, obviously a couple penalties to clean up. You did allow a sack, I believe, on a first or second down or something like that. But for the first game of the year, you got to be pretty happy with how the guys played.
Yeah. Well, I think we did pretty good, but at the same time, we still can work. We still can work and get better every day. Like today we had a good practice, I believe so. And I feel like as we just keep going on and keep playing, we're going to get better.
No doubt about it. And obviously, as you know, being a redshirt on this team, being here with this program a year ago, it's only going to get tougher and tougher when you go up against D-lines of Highland, against a D-line of Butler, go up against the D-line of Independence. You're going to see really talented D-tackles and edge rushers all season long. So it's all about stacking games and getting better and better each week.
Right, you're right.
Well, let's talk to Frederick Giles here, defensive end, and you got your college career started off pretty well. You ended up, I believe, I don't have the full. I guess I do have the stats in front of me, but I believe 3 tackles, 2 sacks,
yes,
and forced fumble as well.
Yes,
So pretty impressive start to your Red Raven career. But something that really impressed me about the D line, and I think that's something that Red Raven teams have done in the past, is we saw it from a number of guys. We saw it from you. We saw it from Elijah Brown and Emmanuel G early in the game. We saw it from Austin Apaya. We saw it from a couple linebackers that crashed down. Quentin Barnes had a big tackle on special teams. So it has to be fun for you to compete with these guys every day in practice and know that there's 9, 10, 11, 12 guys in this front 7 that can go out on game day and be a problem.
Yes, sir. It definitely is just having faith in my teammates and knowing that they're going to play their technique and do what we all supposed to do to, get the job done, I would say.
No doubt about it. Now, I'd love to hear from both of you guys since you're both red shirts, and I'm getting the playing experience for the first time, but you were with the program a year ago. What is something you learned in that red shirt season about being a college football player, about being a Red Raven football player that you think is going to help you here as you are a key piece of this team this year?
Well, me personally, what I learned is being a red shirt as a Red Raven, it's hard. I'm not going to lie. It is kind of hard. But I figured out I had to put the mentality in my head, just keep grinding. You got to keep grinding. You got to want it.
And that's something that we hear all the time from these JUCO athletes, these football players, basketball players, of course. That JUCO product, that hashtag that floats around. I mean, there's meaning to that. You got to work for it every day. You got to earn it. There's nights where you're not, you're sitting in. And Tyler Perry told us there's nights where you're sitting in bed wondering if it's worth it. And it's all about pushing through those moments. And at the end of the day, you guys are both college football players, and I'm sure that's something you've been dreaming about since you were little kids.
Right, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It is.
So for you, Frederick, what is it about, something you learned playing? A lot of good defensive linemen with the Ravens over the time you've been here. Of course, last year, Griffin Lampton, a guy that really had a great start to the season. We had some great D tackles as well that really made an impact. But playing with those guys, working with those guys, and learning under those guys, what's something that you took away from last year that now you think makes you a better defensive end?
Just being more focused, more in the playbook, and I also would say just trusting yourself as a whole, because I know when I first came, I wasn't as confident with moves or just really going out there and knowing that I'm going to beat the guy in front of me. So I would say just one thing that I really picked up is confidence.
And I think, last thing, and I appreciate both of you guys for being here tonight. I know you guys got a position meeting here in just a little bit. So even on the night of the coaches show, we're putting in work getting ready for Cisco, Texas. So. But both of you guys, I know it's not, maybe not directly most of the time since you're more on the edge and you're the center, obviously. You're more at the interior lineman. But going up against a talented offensive line and going up against talented edge rushers that have gone out on game day and proven that, these guys are legit. These guys will sack the quarterback. These guys won't let you get to the quarterback. What is it about, going up against each other in practice every day that makes you better football players?
I feel like we all give 110%. Well, us too for sure, but I think that whole starting 7 does. We all giving 110% effort. We even get into it sometimes, but that's just from us going hard, trying to make each other better day by day.
That's competitors.
Yes, sir.
I believe, like as Fred said, we be going at it at practice. Sometimes it be kind of some altercations, but we just getting better. We just trying to get better day by day. Day by day we get better, and that's really all I gotta say.
Coach Dobler said, he thinks that the front 7 might have gotten faster in practice this week. Can you attest to that, Devin?
I ain't gonna lie, them blitzing coming. I know. Kind of scared.
Oh, Coach Eldridge is a Texas guy. He played at Kilgore with Coach Dobler, so I know. If we get into blitz situations, he's not going to be afraid to send it.
No, not at all.
So we're excited, guys. Before we let you go, what's something you're most excited about heading down to Texas? Fun road trip for you guys. Obviously, business trip. Trying to leave with a win and get to a 2-0 start. But what's something that you're trying to accomplish on game day other than winning the game?
Well, me personally, I'm trying to accomplish, like, of course, no sacks. No sacks. The O-line, I trust my O-line. I love them boys. I love them boys with all my heart. But for sure, no sacks.
I want the whole defensive line to be technically sound the whole game and playing our gaps, for sure. So.
Absolutely. Great stuff. Ravens take on the Cisco Wranglers on Saturday afternoon. The players of the week good enough to join us tonight. Devin Waller, starting center. Fred Giles, defensive end. Thank you guys so much for being here. And we'll let you get to that meeting so we can go out there on Saturday and hopefully get off to a 2-0 start.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Let's take a 2-minute timeout. We'll wrap up the Red Raven Coaches Show with Coach Dover on the other side here on US 98. Back here at the Coaches Show, live from Wendy's in downtown Coffeyville. Appreciate Devin Waller and Fred Giles for joining us here on the Coaches Show. Coach, appreciate you bringing them, of course. And
thank you for doing this again. And Wendy's got my Frosty going now.
Absolutely, you got to end the Wendy's meal with a Frosty. I don't think there's any other way to do it.
I just love being at Wendy's, to be honest with you.
No doubt about it. Hey, you're the perfect ambassador. We need to have a poster outside of the building that's Coach Dobler holding a Frosty that says like the official restaurant of Red Raven football.
I grew up loving me some Wendy's, so when Wendy's came to town, I got excited. Now we're doing a coaching show, and I didn't even have to beg you to do it.
Nope, not at all. No, it ended up working out like a dream, Coach. But let's get into talking a little bit about this matchup with the Cisco Wranglers coming up on Saturday, and obviously we touched on it a little bit after the game against Wesleyan, but obviously I think both of your guys, Joseph Vick, Carson Crean, played well with the reps that they got. So what were the conversations you and Coach Ortiz had? Is this going to be another week of split snaps, or are we going to have to pick a guy here pretty soon? What's the latest in the QB battle?
I mean, if they could both keep performing well and we keep winning, I mean, why stop it?
I agree.
I mean, it's kind of hard not to. So we'll see. We'll keep taking it week by week, game by game.
And I guess I should have asked your thoughts, but you thought they both looked good, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I thought there was a lot of great things that happened with a 35-0 win.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. Of course, with this, we talked a little bit about it with Fred, but something that I think is so important, and it being a D coordinator in this conference, but having not just talent at positions, but having positional depth, and the fact that we saw. Quentin Barnes making a tackle on special teams, the fact that we saw Austin Apaya have moments, the fact that we saw Fred have moments, the fact that we saw Manuel G or Elijah Brown, a couple of your returners, make a split a sack. We saw just a lot of guys, crash the hole at the linebacker spot. I know you moved Jaden down to play a little bit of linebacker this year. Just having, and I'm not even getting into safety and corner where we saw a lot of different guys get reps. It has to be exciting for both you and Coach Eldridge that you go to a game day, and it's not just about the 11 on the field. You feel good about the 11 and sometimes even the 22 behind them.
Yeah, I mean, you just named a lot of players, and there were still a couple more, like a Jack Lanning that made a sack fumble recovery, stuff like that, big-time play. That, again, was a backup. Fred, Player of the Week, was a backup.
Lonnie Burt.
Lonnie Burt started for us, and a true freshman came in. And, so, yes, offensively, defensively, there's a lot of talent, a lot of depth. That's very, very exciting. A lot of different positions, and we'll just keep taking it week by week and see what happens.
If there was... And I don't mean to single out a specific position group, I guess, but if there was one part of your team, one wrinkle of your team that you would like to see growth this week, obviously your head coach answer would be every group on the team you'd like to see improve this week, but was there a position, a group, or a certain part of the game that you hope you see a much better performance from in week 2?
Really, honestly, when you're making me on the spot, there's a lot of good things with a win like that. But special
bad stuff.
Special teams, honestly, we focused a lot this week, a little bit more focused all after the game. I know we never got to see some of the units, like punt return a little bit, which punt return we did, kickoff we did, but there's some units we never got to see. But we need to be better at, so we focused on that this week.
Coach, you have a lot of experience down in the Texas League. You've seen Cisco quite a bit with your time at Kilgore. Kosai Eldridge has as well, playing at Kilgore, and then I know he's excited to go back down there and match up with the Wranglers. But what in your experience, and I know I talked about this all the time with Coach Liker, new players, new coaches, new scheme, new system. I know it changes year to year, but what stays consistent about the Cisco Wranglers for Raven fans and for Jayhawk fans that don't know much about this team? What are some staples of that program that we can expect to see on Saturday?
They're West Texas, so they don't got a lot, so they're going to be another blue collar team, kind of a little bit like how we hang our hat on. They were always a tough, hard nosed, played hard team. That is one thing I will say, and the focus has been, these guys are going to play hard. They're going to come after us. We got to go down there and earn a win. Earn every play, and they're defending their state. We got to go down to a whole nother state, the great state of Texas. That with the football, and that Cisco, they're hard, man. They're always a hard team to beat.
And I wonder. We talked about it a little bit last week with you going into your first game as a head coach. But now that Wesleyan game day is out of the way. You move on to week 2, and you're going down to Cisco. I know it's the first, out-of-state road trip for you as a head coach, and there's going to be a lot of firsts for you as the year goes on. But is there, did you feel any additional nerves or pressure last week with it being, that first, and now that it's out of the way? Is it, like a little bit of a weight off the shoulders, or was it, something that wasn't a huge deal for you at the end of the day?
It was just another game. Yes, it's still different. I'm still feeling, having that feel where I'm not, truly just, hey, I got to go handle coordinating, calling plays, and getting the defense ready to roll. Now I got to look at the whole team as a picture, in which, we got to, but I've already kind of been like that. So I think I've been prepared for this moment, honestly, for a while. Been prepared under Coach Liker and how he's been under Coach Eckerd when I was down there at Kilgore, Texas. And so I've learned a lot. I think, for moments like this, it ain't really just I'm a fish out of water. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I've been pretty prepared and ready for this moment of being the head coach.
We got the little man popping in here, Coach. I got one last thing for you with the team. Obviously, like I talked about with your guys, the number one objective is win the game. Go down there, win the game, no matter what it takes.
Just told them that. I don't care how we get it done. We got to come back on that bus with a win.
But if you had to sit here and give us your Coach Nick Dobler optimal experience on Saturday, what would you like to see from your team that leads to that win? What are some key parts of your team, all 3 phases, that you would like to see in week 2?
When the moment comes and adversity hits, like, step up to the plate. I've preached that we're going to get challenged. There's going to be every game when you start playing in this conference or your schedule at junior college, and that's college football. Anybody can beat anybody any week. No matter if you're at home, away, wins, losses. Adversity is going to hit. A team's going to punch us in the mouth. How are we going to respond? When adversity truly is going to hit, are we going to, point the finger, or are we going to rally around it, and someone's going to step up and make that play again, whether it's the depth, offense, defense, special teams, and who is it? Who's going to be that guy? that's what we'll find out the more we keep playing.
Big showdown, Red Ravens, Cisco Wranglers coming up on Saturday afternoon. We'll have it right here on US 98. Pregame at 2:45, kickoff at 3. And the Ravens looking to start 2-0 as they return home next week to open conference play against Garden City. Coach, as always, appreciate the time, and hopefully next week we're talking about a 2-0 record as we go into conference play.
Yes, thank you very much, and go Raven Nation. Let's go.
Absolutely. Big thanks to Andrew and Blaine for helping us out getting the video stream set up. Happy to be here on the Red Raven Sports Network tonight. Didn't even plug that. It's clearly week 2 for me, too. But thank you to the RRSN for being here. Big thanks to Wendy's for having us as well. Big thanks to your guys, Fred Giles and Devin Waller, for being here. I'm Shane Neal saying so long from Wendy's in downtown Coffeyville. We'll have Red Raven football coming up starting at 2:45 on Saturday. We'll be back with the Red Raven Coaches Show next Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, right here on your home for Red Raven Sports, US 98.